That's just my 2 cents. Oh, it looks like we are live.
We refresh, so we're good to go. We'll give it a few seconds and let people kind of get joined on and watching.
We are live. And even though my phone was muted, it still played the video. So we are rolling.
We are good. All right. Hi, everybody. Today we have an amazing, super fun and exciting partner to introduce to everyone. And today I'd like to talk about MilSpouse Fest. The exciting new things that they have going on, all of the new little tidbits. And I'm going to introduce Emily and go ahead and let her kind of give you guys a layout of what MilSpouse Fest is, why you should go, and why it is so much fun.
Okay, well, my name is Emily Anderson, and I'm the director of MilSpouse Fest. And I am a military spouse. Our team is made up entirely of military spouses and veterans. So we have Sybil Jones, who is our social media manager, and Julie Provost, who is our content manager, also here. And what is MilSpouse Fest? MilSpouse Fest is a series of 14 events throughout the year. They are entirely free, and our presenting sponsor is USAA. We are very happy to present these events for the last 5 years with the help of USAA, and we get to travel around the country and bring games and fun and resources and education to military spouses who we're trying to connect to each other and make a community. So it's a pretty good gig. Yeah.
All right. So if you can kind of give us, our new spouses, an idea of what goes on during MilSpouse Fest. What can they expect when they attend MilSpouse Fest?
Okay. When you get to MilSpouse Fest, the first thing you get is a free T-shirt after we check you in. I think Sybil has on this year's T-shirt, which is our theme for this year is Together. MilSpouse, MilSpouses are better together. We help each other out. We can help each other together get through the tough situations that military spouses are put in every day, whether it's, wrangling children or finding that education piece that they're looking for, finding jobs. So when you come to a MilSpouse Fest, we check you in, we give you one of the free T-shirts. Sometimes we have little swag bags as you check in. During the daytime event, you'll get a little light breakfast, and then we start in with kind of the formal program where we have a keynote speaker. For our Texas events we just finished, our keynote speaker was Corey Weathers. She is the Life Giver. That's her company, and she talks about being together and how we can help each other out. We have presentations about finances and financial planning done by USAA. We have presentations about advocacy and PCSing. So we work through the day of different segments. Segments is what we call them. They're 15 to 20 minute pieces. During the daytime, we give you a lunch. We give away all kinds of prizes in between each of the segments. We play music and can be pretty goofy. But we try to bring all those resources that you would find on a website. But our idea is to get people across the table from each other, that you may be wanting to ask the questions, but of a company, but you don't want to do it online because you don't want them to start spamming you with emails or that kind of thing. So if you can go up to their table, all of our sponsors have a table that we have about an hour prior to the event starting for people to circulate and network with them. and just ask those questions that, tutor.com is one of our sponsors, and they do the free tutoring for children. So you can ask, them questions, military by owner. So we have, a lot of nonprofit resources along with other companies that want to assist our community with finding the things they need to help them out in their daily lives. But it's good. And then we do the same thing in the evening, which people don't normally understand, that there's a daytime event and an evening event. And those events are exactly the same. They just, the evening is set up so that people who work or maybe have issues with daytime childcare, they're waiting for their older children to come home or their spouse to come home or even their babysitter to be available. We present the same information, but during the evening in a more condensed format. And we serve dinner and do the same games, same prizes, same content. It's just set up for those people that don't have the daytime free to come. So as somebody who, when I first got married, I worked all the time and everything it seemed like was done during the daytime, I can appreciate that doing it at night offers up that little bit of opportunity that you might miss out on. So that's a good deal.
So it's pretty basically a very fun, relaxing environment where you get to learn about a whole bunch of new resources, ask questions, be informed. And what do you have to say for new spouses who want to bring friends?
Bring them along. We always, we are, I am a very seasoned spouse, but I think for new spouses, it's important, especially if you just PCS somewhere, to, you find your neighbor who just got there and you bring them along, because for me, it's fun to go to the different events and see people. We had one person at San Diego this last year who'd been to 5 of them. She just, every time she moves, she finds out where we are and when we come to her new place. So we were talking about getting pins for repeat customers. But I think it's important to, it's always great to have the experienced spouses in the room, because they can provide a certain knowledge of how to go about doing things. But having those new spouses there and being able to get the two groups together to communicate is key. I think that one of the things we talk about is that you don't know about a resource until you need to know about it. And sometimes you're already in the midst of some kind of chaos or challenge when you find out that you need a resource. So what we try to do is present these resources in a fun and educational atmosphere, so that it may not be you that needs the resource, but if you have it in the back of your mind, so that later on, if you go to a different place, you can recall that resource if you run into a friend or somebody else, or a Facebook page post that somebody needs help with something. So that's just putting the pieces there so that people can pick up on them and maybe use them later on down the line. So yes, a new spouse should come, so that someday she's going to be the experienced spouse, and having that knowledge in her pocket is key.
Yes, I definitely agree. That knowledge is extremely important, but sharing that knowledge with others is by far more important. All right. So what is the registration process for MilSpouse Fest?
I'm going to let Sybil answer this, because she does our social media and puts out all the registration information. So she can definitely help you out.
So I have been with MilSpouse Fest a little bit under 2 months. So so I came on board right as we were gearing up for Texas. But for registration, we have links on our website, milspousefest.com, as well as we keep links up on Eventbrite. So we ask everyone to register with our Eventbrite links. We do share them across all of our social media, and sometimes people will click, yes, that they're going on the Facebook page, but we really need you to register at the Eventbrite links to keep up, so we have the head count and your name and all that good stuff.
Okay, so make sure you have your friends registered too. So if you bring 5 friends, make sure they're registered.
They register as well. Yes.
Okay. I know when I attend, I will probably be bringing 5 or 6 friends. So
yes. The more the merrier.
Yes.
And I may consider making a trip to Virginia just so I can actually finally attend one of these, because I've been wanting to attend one for several years, but we're AGR, so we're typically not stationed near bases, and haven't been anywhere near where y'all have been hosting events. So gives me an excuse to visit Virginia family and to go see.
Come on,
go
come,
Kayla.
I'm in Virginia, so.
All right, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. She can just come stay with me and we'll go together.
Yes.
That's one of the things that we talk about is I'm a Navy spouse, Sybil's a Navy spouse, and Julie is Army National Guard. And, the events are definitely open to, whether you're an active duty spouse, reservist, National Guard, any of the components. We get retirees, we get moms, sometimes mother-in-laws, they're very much open. It's called MilSpouse Fest, but we try and encourage anybody who's out there supporting somebody in the military community, regardless of, branch of service or current status, to come, because sometimes it's the moms, especially for the single guys or single gals who, they're the ones who are gathering that information for them. And it's fun. So it's nice to have them come, and they're always, sometimes the moms can bring it. And a lot of times they're former active duty spouses themselves. So it's kind of that you get that generational thing going, which is really, really great. But we used to actually be all Navy spouses. So Julie is our, we're branching out to
Army.
to the Army services, trying to branch out a little bit. So we get different perspectives, which is good. But we always encourage to all the services to come. Definitely important. Not everybody operates the same way, but it's good. We all have knowledge where you're like, really, I didn't know, the Air Force does that for you. They get all the, the things. So it's good. It's a big competition to see who's the most loud in the room. But
Oh yes. That part was very fun.
yeah.
Emily, we're holding down the Navy while we
were the only two Navy when we went to Texas this last time. And I think
Oh, wow.
actually both locations, San Antonio and Fort Hood, we were the only Navy. We're like, wait, that's so weird, because when we come to San Diego, it's crazy Navy. But I will give it to the Marine spouses are usually by far the loudest of
I don't know. You might have some tough competition, in Quantico.
Yeah, definitely. The Marine spouses are super, super enthusiastic. They're a good group, and competitive. Nothing brings out, we do these trivia games, and nothing brings out the competitive nature of spouses more than a little trivia or the games. We're always like, you'll be fine. It's only for a gift card or whatever, but they are willing to throw down over some gift cards, which is fun. But it can be terrifying, actually.
So with the games, do you try to get a lot of different spouses to interact with each other during the games? Do you pair them up differently or by table or something to where they're all just kind of meeting other new spouses?
Yes. So we do allow people to sit where they want during the actual event. There is tables that we all sit in. Usually we do 10 tops. So there's a group of, unless you come with 10 friends, you may end up sitting with strangers. But we do some games where it's individual, and then we do games that are the whole table interacts with each other, and it's a team win or a team loss, depending. USAA segment is a group project, which is good. But yeah, we try to get them interacting and talking to each other and sharing. That's a lot of the sharing of information, is when they can compete in the game, and everybody brings that different set of knowledge, and facts and experiences. So that's where the games get a little bit interesting. PCS Grades, which is one of our sponsors, they also do a game about base trivia. So, and it's sometimes interesting to see the things that people know about those certain bases that somebody may have never been stationed there or have just gotten there. And so getting them to bring out that knowledge is pretty entertaining sometimes. But yeah, it's good. It's good to see people interacting. I think that one of the things that we talk about as a team is, I know Sybil from our spouses were stationed in Japan together, but Julie and I have worked together for the last, I think, 4 years on and off, but we've never actually met in person. So it's pretty entertaining, to see people that are maybe, it's that you can have 1,300 friends on Facebook, but only have actually met half of them in person. And so the events are nice because you get to see, these people in person, and sometimes you meet them in person and you've never met them before. And so taking that sort of anonymity away from them and making them like see each other face to face. And, there is that point of, you want to get kindness in there so that you realize that, oh, this is actually a person. Because sometimes it can be, in social media, it can be very judgy. And so we all know keyboard warriors. And so getting people in person at the events and letting them see each other and putting that personal note on those kind of things. I know Sybil in Texas met up with some friends from high school that she had not seen in a long time, but knew them on Facebook still and everything. So it's putting that personal connection together is good for our community in general, is to have that connection.
Yes, that's like with Julie and I. We have worked together, but we have not officially met each other in person.
Oh, wow.
I have actually, I don't think I've met anybody on our MSAN team in person like before. So it's well, and I mean, and I'm in a unique situation, we're typically not stationed at a base. So, I don't have a lot of, opportunity to be in a military spouse community. And so it's times like that where, where I'm really thankful for, these, internet groups and video chat, because I can feel connected to my military spouse family. And so, yeah, someday, I'll meet
Someday.
everybody.
Yeah. And so for us as military spouses to be able to get together in a fun and educational environment, to meet each other, whether it's the first time, we've been talking through FaceTime for so long, it's exciting. I mean, it is overwhelmingly exciting. Yeah,
it is. It's, I think in Fort Hood, I got to meet Maria Reed, who is somebody who, again, I'd interacted with, for a long time, but I finally got to meet her and Bernice from MSAN, and just these people who even, we lived in Japan for 4.5 years. So when I first started working for our company, I lived in Japan, and I didn't get to meet, I had met one person on the team in person, and that was it. And so for the first, few years, that was first 4.5 years, I hadn't met anyone else. And when we finally I moved back, and it was great to actually get to meet people, and all of the sponsors and people that I had worked with for that many years, but had never met them. So the first event that I got to go to, I was like, oh, that's what this person looks like. And that's what this person looks like. And you feel really goofy, but it is that you feel like you know people so well, but you have really no idea what they look like, or what they, their voice actually sounds like. So it's, that's a really interesting thing about the events, is that you do get to then actually, see a person, I would say hug a person, but not right now. Fist bump or whatever you want to do. But it's a fun experience to get to, actually put names with faces with actual people, or be like, oh, you're taller than I thought you were, or you're shorter than I thought you were.
The height thing is what gets me all the time.
Yeah.
You barely like, hi, I'm this tall. Like, you don't ever talk about it. And so you just kind of like, this person, they seem like a tall person, and you meet them, and you're like, wait.
Well,
their personality is so much bigger than their
right. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a super tall upper body, you can seem really tall, but your legs are like tiny. You're fine. So Yeah, it's a good time. They're fun to put together, and it's fun always to see what local sponsors we can have there and local resources, because that contributes a lot to it. That the local resources that come and join us and want to get their message out or their mission out to the spouses and let them know that they're there supporting them is really, it's fun. It's good to see all the locals. So yeah.
Now, what about for deployed spouses? Is there anything that you guys do in particular for deployed spouses during the MilSpouse Fest?
Yes, actually, we so USAA, they have a partnership with FTD Flowers, and one of the things that we do, and Sybil got to see this in Texas, and Julie has actually been to our events too. So FTD is very generous in that they donate through USAA table arrangements for the event, and not to give too many secrets away for future events, but what we like to do is we, at a point during the events, the table arrangements are given away to the people who have deployed spouses at the time, so that no matter what, they're going home with something to help them remember the day by. And we definitely always recognize those people that have deployed spouses and want them to stand up and get their round of applause, because it's tough, and it's with today's op tempo, it's a very it's important for them to feel like they have a community that is there supporting them. So, and the flowers are always pretty. they're
Super
they're always
pretty.
very colorful and patriotic, and they're great. They're just beautiful. And FTD has been extremely generous, and USAA has just been great in supporting that effort to get them recognized.
Yeah, I think it's great, because I think that deployed spouses need that little bit of motivation sometimes to get out of the house, to go do things. Like, take your friends, take all your friends to MilSpouse Fest.
Yeah,
All of them.
All of them.
bring all the spouses. Yeah, and the one thing we always encourage is people always ask us about the dress code and what they should wear. Is it a formal event? And we always try to tell them that we want to be comfortable. So our entire team wears jeans and one of the t-shirts, and we encourage everybody to just wear jeans. There's no need to get super dressy unless you want to. You can be dressy, but we want to be comfortable, and we want everybody else to be comfortable there. So there's no pressure to dress up or get your hair done or whatever. You can come in your sweats if you need to. As long as you get out of the house, that's the biggest thing, is getting out of the house. We'll feed you.
Relax,
it's a
fun environment.
You get to be casual, so it's good.
I mean, how can you go wrong? A relaxed, fun, educational environment with food.
Yes,
You can't go wrong with that.
I mean, it's like the perfect thing. If I could have it on my couch, then that would be even better. But
I mean, I'm sold at games, y'all. Like,
and prizes. There's tons of prizes too.
Lots of prizes.
It's lots of prizes. We have a lot of very generous donors who donate prizes, and they're awesome. ZZZ Bears is one, and they always give away a little bear to some of our one of the youngers. So we always encourage spouses to come alone and leave their children at home, but we absolutely understand that there's those challenges of childcare, and babes in arms are always welcome. We love the babies. So usually one of them goes home with the bear, and so yeah, it's fun.
That's exciting.
It is. We're always like, oh, their babies are so cute. My child is 12 and very tweeny, and so he doesn't want anything to do with me, but somebody else's babies are very cute. It's good. So yeah, it's good.
Well, that's also a relief too, is younger spouses can know that they have those little hip babies. They can take them. It's not going to stop you from being able to go.
No, it's I do tell the story that my son was born when my husband was deployed, and we had just moved to a new duty station, USS Dennis Bremerton, Chauncey Stennis, and we got to Bremerton and I was 36 weeks pregnant. He deployed, we moved into our house and he deployed 2 weeks later. And I had my son and my mom left. She was only able to be there for a few weeks. And the Spouses Club is one of the Spouses Club that I am the most, still the closest with after, 12 years. And they're like, oh, we're having a dinner, we're having this and that. And I was like, well, I can't because I have the baby. And they're like, nope, you just bring the baby along. And so that's always my thing, is when people are like, well, no, I have my baby. And they're like, there's plenty of people to hold them. There's plenty of people to help take that burden off a little bit, to let you have fun and eat your meal and play the games. So there's always people who are willing to hold the babies.
Yes, I know that we are very excited to be a resource for MilSpouse Fest.
Mm-hmm.
We are excited to be set up, to be in the middle of it, to be able to provide our resources for new spouses, but to, also be a part of the games.
Yes, also part of the games.
Yeah.
Competitive spirit.
Yes.
Yes. No, we are very excited to be partnering with MSAN and, be in the locations that you guys are in and get the word out both about your program and MilSpouse Fest, and making sure that, again, those spouses are getting the resources that they need and able to find, the places to reach out to connect and get the things that we need in our lives, because it can be a tough road sometimes. So it gets a little bit easier when we work together to try and, you don't have to be out there alone, which is, important to know, because it can seem that way sometimes.
Yes. And it's also a great opportunity to meet other spouses on your installation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, these some of the Army installations are gigantic. I'm always like, I don't know how you find each other. Like, so it is a very, it's interesting. You can be on an installation whether you live in base housing or, like we're in San Diego right now, and everybody's so spread out. Sometimes that base housing situation is really nice because you can connect a little bit easier, but yeah, it can be really lonely even when you're surrounded by a bunch of people. So getting to know, the different groups and the different, activities, or whether it's, we've had spouses who walked into the events alone and they walk out with the names and numbers and email addresses of, 5 of their new best friends. So it's really a good way to, even if it's just then being able to go out for coffee and get yourself out of the house, one time a week and meet other people. It's a great opportunity for that.
Yeah, because it's really important to have those connections, to have that little sense of community. And I love that MilSpouse Fest is bringing that sense of community. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good deal. It really is a good deal. It's free. So I would say it's free 99. Just come. What do you have to lose, really? It's no matter what, you'll get your t-shirt and we'll feed you, and in all likelihood you'll walk out with a prize. So
there's no downside.
There is no downside.
No.
There was I actually met 2 ladies while we were in San Antonio that they found out they were sitting at the same table together, but as they were talking, they realized they lived one street over from one another. And yes, I had to sit down and get in that conversation because I wanted to hear I wanted to hear their story, and it was just really cool. But they literally lived one street over from one another, and so they said they were gonna stay in touch. So I'm hoping they do. Like, yay.
Yeah.
We had this funny story at the San Diego events this last fall, and there was a spouse who she was on her way to MilSpouse Fest in San Diego and accidentally locked her keys in her house. And so she was standing outside her house and she was struggling because she was like, I want to go to MilSpouse Fest. I want to go. I think it was her second one. And she called her spouse and she's like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get there? He's like, well, just call an Uber or Lyft. And so she calls the Uber or Lyft. It turns out her Lyft driver is a brand new military spouse himself and had no idea what MilSpouse Fest was. Well, she ended up convincing him to come to MilSpouse Fest, and he stayed through the whole thing. He was like, well, this is great. He's like, totally lost out on all the rides for the rest of the day, but he like made a new best friend, and he also got to attend MilSpouse Fest. And so yeah, it was really funny. She's like, I didn't come here alone, whatever, but I did bring my Lyft driver. And we're like, I'm sorry, we need a little more background on how this happened. But yeah, he had just PCS to the area and didn't know anybody, so he was happy to come along. But yeah, people always meet somebody new, which is fun.
Yeah. So you want to clarify, this is not just for female MilSpouses. This is for male MilSpouses too.
Yes. It is for male spouses and partners, fiancés. You don't have to be married. We do not check IDs, so we just assume that if you heard about it, that you are part of our community. And yeah, it is for male, female, fiancés, girlfriends. We just want everybody to have the same information.
All right. So are service members allowed to attend with their spouses?
Yes, they are. Sometimes they get more competitive during the trivia things than I do, but I know you find that hard to believe. And they also usually want food. But yes, active duty are allowed to attend. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Definitely.
Julie, do you have any questions before we open up the floor for questions?
Well, I was just going to ask for them to maybe talk about the places that they're headed to for the rest of 2020. Now, I mean, I totally understand with, everything going on, worldwide, that there may be some postponements or cancellations. But with that aside, at least so the people that are watching can kind of get an idea for where you guys are headed this year.
Who wants to take this? Julie, can you remember where we're going?
Well, we are going to be headed to Fort Hood, and we're working on schedules based on everything that's going on. So we are also going to Virginia in September and North Carolina in November. So that will complete our year, our 2020 year, but then will be more places in 2021 too. So,
and we do have a related question, and it's actually something that I would personally also like to know. So the question on Facebook is, if our base doesn't have a MilSpouse Fest near, is there a way that we can request to have an event?
You can email support@milspousefest.com, and we start compiling the locations that we would like to go to or places that have requested us to go. Just to clarify, none of our events are actually held on base. We make sure that they're held off base so that people with limited access can still attend. It's usually in the same town at a hotel or some kind of event venue there, but we do keep a running list of requests and places to go to. We do Fort Drum, we are headed to for the first time because it's remote and we understand that not a lot of people go there. So we're definitely monitoring the situation with everything else going on to make sure that we can do the events in the way that is safest for both the attendees and the sponsors and for our team. So we will be updating all of those. But yeah, you can always email us, and we always like to hear who wants us. We've always tried to go, we're like, let's go to the fun places. But we totally understand that, it's sometimes the more remote locations that are the most in need of having a day of fun. So yeah, email away. We're always on the other end of the line.
Yeah. And so for those of you that are watching along with us, if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop those in the comments so that we can get those answered for you. Because as of right now, we've already answered the only question I see.
We had one from Courtney that says cough cough, Fort Riley.
I'm gonna say cough cough Chicago.
And we will make sure that we drop that email in the link as well, or in the comment section for you guys who want to email your locations.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we had somebody else request Fort Riley, and yeah, I mean, we are always, changing the places that we're going every year. This year, we are actually not going back to San Diego, which people think I'm crazy because being the one who plans the events and I live here, it would be super easy to go to San Diego. But I think it's really important to go and visit some of the other locations. And like Julie said, we're going back to Quantico. We haven't been to Quantico for a couple years. And Norfolk, I think last year was the first time, or 2018 was the first time we went to Norfolk. So we're going back this year. But yeah, we try and rotate around and give, spread the love around. It's definitely easier to always go back to a place we've been to. But last year we had 3 new locations, I think, which was Hawaii. We got to Hawaii. That was on our wish list. And then we got to go to Hawaii, and then Nebraska, Offutt, Nebraska, and Colorado Springs. So we're trying to condense the travel a little bit this year to we did 4 events in Texas. We'll do 2 in Fort Drum. Where else are we going? Virginia. We'll go to 2 in Quantico and 2 in Norfolk. And then North Carolina will be 2 in Fort Bragg and 2 in Camp Lejeune. So yeah, we try to get the repeat locations on about an 18-month rotation. So to keep, it's a little bit fresh and not go back to the same places too often, so that we can see more spouses.
Well, I am super excited because I will be seeing you guys in Quantico for sure.
Good deal.
I'm
yeah,
excited.
I'm excited because I didn't get to go to Quantico last time. I was still in Japan, and this time in Texas was the first time I got to go to the Texas event. So that was good. And I always hear things like, "Oh, this restaurant's really good," and "Weren't you there?" And I'm like, "Nope, just wasn't there last time, but I get to go this time, so it's fun." Good.
All right. Well, I don't see any more questions. Do you, Julie?
I do not see any more questions. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions that I have.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that you guys don't give out too much of the top secret information. We got to leave the prizes to being secret.
Oh yes, the prizes are always secret. They usually fill my office, and then I have to ship them there. But yeah, I mean, it's a great experience, and it's fun, and obviously it's free for everybody. And then we can bring in resources like MSAN to help, spread the word about your programs. And for us, it's a good way to share that community spirit around for military spouses. And obviously we all work remotely. So and our CEO, Katie, is in Connecticut. So she is an Army veteran herself. And she gets to come with us. And it's funny working with this team because we are a very small team, Julie and Sybil and Katie and I. And so it's actually fun to get to see each other at the events because we don't get to see each other very often. Otherwise, like you guys said, you don't actually get to meet each other in person. So coming to the events and seeing what's new in each other's lives and doing that check-in is always a good time. But yeah, so we'll have a new, I think, we're looking always for speakers that are military spouses. That's always a big one. And for our swag bags for the giveaways, we're always looking for military spouse businesses. If you want to share your business with us, there's always sponsorship tables for those too. If you want to come and be a sponsor at the event and get the word out about your business, that's a great opportunity to do that. What else? But Milso Box and Brave Crate were great about giving contributions to the events in Texas and sharing those with the spouses. So yeah, we're always looking to kind of help promote for the prizes, the military spouse businesses and veteran owned businesses, because we know that there's a lot of MilSpouse entrepreneurs out there doing some really creative stuff. And it's fun to be able to give those away to the attendees, and they can see what all cool things everybody's making. So yeah, it's fun.
I love
Good
that.
networking.
I love that you guys support new spouse or just military spouse entrepreneurs as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's really important for us to support each other. And there's some incredibly creative people out there, and whether it's writing or those businesses where you make something that we can give away to other attendees, and we can let them know so that when they're ordering their Christmas gifts or holiday gifts, they can spread those words around and let everybody know about them. Yeah, it's fun.
So I do have a question, or I guess more of a, what would you guys, or what would an attendee tell somebody that's on the fence about coming to this event, like, and why they should go, if that makes sense?
I think Sybil can answer this, because she was hired and hadn't ever attended an event. She's like, I don't even know what these are about. So
yes, I was like, let me hit that mute button real quick so I can unmute so I can answer this question. Yeah, I would tell them to come. Like, if you're curious about what MilSpouse Fest is about, the events, just come. When I took the job, I had no clue what MilSpouse Fest was about. And I remember I was like, Emily, I don't even know what an event is. Like, what do y'all do? I don't know. So, and for me, I was kind of like, oh gosh, I'm walking into this job. I have no clue what MilSpouse Fest is about, what to do at the events. But if you are looking to make new friends, if you are looking for just a day out or an evening out, I would say go to an event. Like, for real. Even if you have the mindset of, I don't want to meet anyone, right? Because, I've been there. I don't want to meet anyone. Just going and being able to hear someone speak, a keynote speaker, that really makes you think, right? Because you have someone talking to you about this life that kind of makes you see a whole nother side of things. Just come. I'm like, what is it? Like Curious George. Most of the time we're curious, like Curious George. So just show up at the event and have a good time. Just let the event lead you. And that's what I did. I mean, I was there working, but I was also like having fun in the background. And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me focus and do what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, just come.
So just go.
Just
Yeah,
go.
just go.
Just go. Let
it's free. You can
right.
go. It's like,
I mean, you really have nothing, absolutely nothing to lose. As Emily has said, it's free. You have free food, there's prizes, and there's fun. So, and there's fun for everyone, right? Because you're kind of like, well, what is your definition of fun? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that was kind of my question. I was like, well, your definition of fun. But it was fun hearing the speakers, meeting people, playing the games. I mean, I was trying to answer the questions, and I was getting them all wrong because I knew nothing about Texas, but it was just fun being there and being with other people. That's the biggest thing, having other people to talk to.
So yeah, just go. If you're near Norfolk, Quantico, Fort Drum, go. Make a day of it. Have
Carolina, right? Y'all are hitting those spaces up too. So
yeah. So if you're in those areas, make sure that you go to MilSpouse Fest, make a day of it, have fun, hit up all of the organizations that are going to have amazing resources for you, and enjoy yourself in your jeans.
yes.
or sweatpants.
or sweatpants.
Or dry. I mean, for me, if I was going to like a night event, I'd probably get all like dolled up, go out with my girlfriends, for a girls' night out, and we'd probably all dress up and get cute. And I mean, that's just me. Gives me used to like, you know, put on a skirt or a dress, some boots.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I asked Emily about heels. Remember when
I
we
did.
talked about like dressing, and I was like, okay,
like,
so
don't wear heels.
really, what do you wear? And she's like, jeans. We wear jeans and tennis shoes. I was like, so what if I show up in my yellow heels? You know, she's like, you can if you want, but
Your feet are gonna hurt. That's what I told her.
yeah, but I did show up in my yellow shoes. I did have on yellow shoes, yellow all stars. Yes. But there were people dressed. There were people dressed up. There were people in jeans.
We always try to do, if it's around a holiday, we always try to do themed too. We did one in Norfolk that was like, I think the day before Halloween. And so we all, you know, costumes and candy. And in Texas, I wore cowboy boots and things, but it's very important to be themed with what we're going for. But yeah, it's, you know, it's definitely a fun. We always come back exhausted from the planning perspective, but it's exhausted in a good way if we can leave and know that, you know, we have given, you know, it sounds like a cliche, but just one person that piece of information that they need that they can share with somebody, then it's a good day and it's energy well spent, that you can feel like they can walk away. And all the sponsors give out swag, so you get lots of pens and all that other stuff, but it's very you know, knowing that people can share. And in Texas, Corey Weathers does a great job of you know, she's talking about your emotional stability and where you are on Maslow's ladder of, you know, needs. And right now, obviously, that's very applicable, like whether how much toilet paper you have or whether you're emotionally stable. So it's, you know, definitely, we try to tap into that, you know, having people walk away with something more than just, you know, the swag that they get at the sponsor tables, that they're walking away with that knowledge or that assurance that there's a community out there to support them, or that there's a resource that they can need, or that their neighbor could use, or their friend, that there are people out there in the same position, and probably having gone through a similar experience, and that they can use that information that they have. So that's always our goal.
And make
Sounds
sure,
exciting.
yes, it's very exciting. And make sure that you stop by to see MSAN table, because you might see one of our mentors, our volunteers, or your partnership and outreach manager in Quantico. So come to Quantico.
And who knows, maybe I'll show up somewhere. I mean, I do have family all over Virginia, and
I'm working on her.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm working on her.
Yes, we can't wait to see all of you. And yeah, it's a fun experience, and it's always free, and we're always posting where the dates and locations are on our website, and you can look it up through Eventbrite also, and follow, you know, social media. Sybil's always hot on the social media, doing lots of quizzes and goofy things, and then Julie's, you know, posting our content and making sure that people are getting the resources that they need on our website, and sharing the things that our partners are doing too, like MSAN, what you guys are all about and what you're doing. So that goes up on our site, and building that community. So yeah. But we, you know, obviously seeing you in Virginia, or is Fort Drum closer to you? I don't know.
I was debating both. I was like, why not?
I think for me, if the lakes weren't there, Fort Drum would be closer, but because of the
Those
lake,
big lakes in the middle,
you know, because of all those lakes, I think
Great
Julie
Lakes,
and Quantico, yeah, are closer technically. But yeah, no, I don't think I've ever been in upstate New York.
Okay, you're going with that one to me, because upstate New York is my place. I love New York.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm just hoping there won't be like 6 feet of snow or anything like that.
You know, we had like 2 or 3 inches of snow just yesterday. It was gross.
Really?
It's all gone now, thankfully. But yeah, no, it snowed the other day. I was like, what is this?
And I'm always in her warpath being in Maryland, and I'm like, you can keep it. Do not send it my way.
Yeah. It should go up by those big lakes and just up into Canada where they like that stuff. Right?
Yeah, you're right where they, well, I don't know. Maybe they don't like the snow. Who knows? But either way, we're definitely excited for this partnership, and we're excited to be able to impact more military spouses through this, and that we get to work with all you lovely ladies.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
We bring our team of crazy to your location near you. It's gonna be good.
Well, I am thankful that we get to add to your crazy. And I am thankful that you guys took the time to talk with us today, because this is super exciting. We are all very excited about MilSpouse Fest.
Yes. Well, we're excited to work with MSAN, and your whole crew has been great. And I think you actually have a volunteer up in Syracuse who already reached out to help out too. So yeah, it'll be good. But it's going to be a great year. Like I said, we're monitoring the situation with, everything else that's going on. So, check back on our site for updates on the dates. And yeah, we just hope everybody stays safe and healthy.
Yep, and the website is posted in the comments there. So if anybody's watching, that is the best place to stay up to date on their dates.
Good.
Yep. All right, ladies. Well, if we don't have anything else or any other questions.
I have not seen any other questions come through.
No. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk with us and sharing all these lovely little tidbits about MilSpouse Fest.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting us. And we will see you all very soon before we
Yes.
know it. So
Definitely.
great.
All right. Well, you ladies have a wonderful day. Stay safe.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.